Chapter 15. Making Amends. Amazingly, the taxi doesn't pull up outside Eve's house until nearly 10 o'clock. Handing him the fare plus an extra $20 tip, I walk up the drive to the front door, ignoring the lurking paps. I'm not sure what kind of reception to expect, but the nerves twisting my stomach are making me feel sick. Before I can get the chance to ring the doorbell or knock, the front door opens, taking me by surprise. It's like she's been waiting for me. "Hi, Evie," I greet her tentatively. She looks like a bundle of nerves herself. Her hair is dishevelled, there are bags under her eyes, and her normally olive complexion is noticeably pale and washed out. She is wearing blue velour jogging-style pants, so long the hems at the bottom are frayed. She is barefoot and wearing a crop top, bra style something on her top half. Thankfully, the bruise on her cheek that was very prominent the last time I saw her is barely noticeable now. "You came," Eve gasps, sounding pleased. Her voice is quieter than normal, and even though she looks like she might be about to cry, her lips turn upwards in a smile. "I didn't expect you," she says. Her amber eyes are calm and not blazing with jealous fury, as they often are when I see her. She throws her arms around me, oblivious to the flashbulbs popping behind us. "I can't believe you're here," she cries, squeezing me tight as her voice wobbles, as if she's about to cry. I laugh a little, pleased at the warm reception, and embrace her. The shock emotional welcome has me on the edge of joining her in that impending sob session. "Eve," I begin, but she presses her index finger against my lips and I lapse into silence. Glancing over my shoulder at the paps, she takes hold of my wrist and pulls me into the house, pushing the door closed behind me. Her body then sags slightly. "Mike." She looks up at me with tears in her eyes now and slips her arms around my waist, pressing her face into my chest. Her next words are muffled, her whole body quivering like a leaf in the wind. "Hold me. Let's pretend everything's okay for a minute, can we?" I quickly drop the bag, which I'm still holding, onto the floor and wrap my arms around her, resting my cheek on top of her head. "Honey, you're shaking," I gasp. "I've never seen you like this. What's the matter?" I can feel moisture soaking through my t-shirt where she is crying into it. "I'm so scared," she sobs, still attached to me. I'm surprised that she craves my comfort and physical closeness from me, all things considered, and wonder if any of her emotions are triggered by our intimate embrace. "I'm scared that our relationship is over. The options for handling this pregnancy terrify me. I think it's too late to have an abortion, and even if it wasn't, I could never do something like that," she goes on, still crying and starting to get a bit hysterical. "I'm scared of being a single mum. The baby is going to screw up my figures. I'll be out of a job, and I can't even turn to my mum. But most of all, I'm scared of being alone. I can't do this on my own." Even though she is talking into my chest, none of her words are lost there. "Whoa, Evie, baby, just calm down," I say, stroking her hair gently, my voice on the edge of breaking as I go on. "Everything's going to be okay. I promise. I'm here for you. I will be there, if you let me." She pulls back and looks at me, her face streaked with moist tears. "Really?" she sniffs. "You promise?" She sounds surprised. I guess she was expecting the worst, that maybe I wouldn't want to know. One corner of my mouth tilts upwards. "I have just flown halfway across the world, especially to see you," I say, stroking her cheek to wipe away some of the tears. "You think I came all this way just to say adios, amigo?" She looks at me, her lips quivering and her eyes crinkling as more tears flow from them. "Look, I'm not going anywhere. I'm no quitter. I'm willing to fight for this relationship if you are," I say softly, searching my pockets for my hanky, and then wiping her face with it. "I love you, Evie, more than anything." "Oh, Mike," she sobs, taking the hanky out of my hand and pressing it against her eyes. "I love you so much. I don't know what I've done to deserve you." I gently pull her back into my arms, and she rests her head against me, the hanky still pressed to her face. "Listen, if you don't stop that, you're going to set me off in a minute," I say softly, my own voice wobbling, but she continues to sob into my hanky. I want to apologise and beg forgiveness. There's so much I want to say, but the words are lost someplace between my brain and my mouth, as tears threaten to well up in my eyes. "Can you forgive me?" she sniffs. It's like our brains have merged into one, and instead of the words coming out of my mouth, they have come out of hers. For what? I frowned, gently tilting her chin so that she was looking at me. Good Lord, Evie, I'm the one that owes you an apology, not the other way around. Sometimes I just can't help myself. The jealousy just takes over, and I don't know what happens. I just lose my temper. I don't know why I keep hurting you, she sniffs. Last weekend, I should have left before it went as far as it did, but I was afraid. I don't know why I did what I did. I realise she is apologising for attacking me. She's never done that before. In fact, it's not something we have really talked about so frankly. When things are okay, we just pretend they are always like that. I can't believe you've never even so much as shoved me in response before, she goes on. Then her brow draws over her eyes in a deep frown. Last week was different, though. You hit me. Why did you do that? She looks up at me thoughtfully, a puzzled look on her face, and takes a step back, putting some distance between our bodies. I swallow uncomfortably and lick my lips, thinking how best to phrase my apology. I don't really want to talk about this, but now we're here, it's a conversation that very much needs to be had. Eve, you're so beautiful and sweet and clever and feisty and so much more, I say, starting with all the things I love about her the most. You came in with me with a knife, and I didn't know what else to do. I hope you can forgive me. I swallow down the lump forming in my throat and fight to control my welling emotions. I have never raised my hand to a woman like that before. I don't want to try and make excuses. I want to put it behind us and move on. My breathing is a bit shaky now, and I'm afraid I'm about to turn into a basket case too. I can't even tell you how sorry I am. To my surprise, a faint smile lights up her face. I know, she says. I saw your little piece on the news, the apology. It takes me a minute or two to remember what she's talking about. You saw that? I wince, remembering how badly it went. It was spontaneous. Yeah, it was nice. I wish you hadn't shared the bit about the knife, but I'm at fault. I can't really be mad at you for that. Her expression turns serious and she bites her lip, silence hanging between us, so she finds the nerve to tell me the other things on her mind. You know, Mike, I've been around a while and I've heard stories about DV. How do I know it was a one-off? I feel like I'm going to be sick. Maybe it's just hunger, but it could be the mention of domestic violence. She has reminded me, as if I needed to be, how serious this thing really is. Oh my God, I exclaimed, the words coming out in a rush with an expulsion of breath. What I did to you last week is killing me. Some people might brush that off as just a slap, but that's a big deal to me. I'm sorry you don't know that isn't who I am. If I ever raise my hand to you again, especially after all the other shit that's been going on, I would drop myself off the nearest bridge. I can see her considering my words carefully. Realising that I still don't feel forgiven for my part in last weekend, the desire to achieve that is strong. Can you ever forgive me, Eve? I hate the way my voice sounds to be on the verge of breaking. I've been thinking a lot since last week, she says carefully. I want to say yes, but I need more time. I stare down at the tiled floor between our feet and try to speak again without falling apart. Come on, Mike, pull yourself together, for goodness sake. That's no problem, I finally say. Can you promise you won't try to kill me again? Yes, of course. I just lost my mind for a minute there. Eve nods and begins to tie the cord hanging from the front centre of her trouser waistband round her fingers mindlessly. I know my past is the reason for my paranoia, rather than anything you have actually done, but it still sits there on my shoulder like a bad smell, whispering in my ear, she says, and puts on a voice like a wicked witch. He's lying, you know. He's with another woman, Eve. Ask him why he doesn't call you. Go on. Why ever do you believe his stories anyway? You mean she has never really doubted me? Look, I have never cheated on a girlfriend, like ever, I assure her, hoping more words still mean something and refusing to feel guilty about what didn't happen with Chrissy. Eve grimaces, the cord still tangled with her fingers. What have I been saying to you lately? Can I see your phone? Sure, I say, pulling it out of my pocket. I see that I have a new message. It's from the same unregistered number I've been getting contact from for months. It has to be her. I haven't really mentioned my stalker to Eve, and I have been certain she will use it against me. I may have told her the first few times, but I don't know if she remembers or still knows this is a problem. I run my hand through my hair, and a wave of panic washing over me. Listen, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I begin, licking my lips. What's up? Eve questions, drawing her face. Do you trust me? I say, not completely sure what the true answer is, and not certain I want to know at the moment. Because I am still getting those messages, you see. The frown on her face deepens. I'm not sure right now, but I did, even though I probably didn't show it, she says, unwinding the fingers of her left hand from the cord and holding out her hands. What are you talking about anyway? Just let me see, will you? Hesitantly, I hold out my phone to her. I have no idea who she is, and I don't know why she won't leave me alone, I say. Eve snatches the phone and begins scrolling through it. Have you replied to these? She frowns, her attention still on the phone in her hands. I have never responded. Come on, the last thing she needs is encouragement, I say. Well, now, I might have replied the first time she texted me. I don't recognise her number and don't give mine out to just anybody, so I probably asked who she was, something like that. I don't remember exactly. Eve gasped, looking up at me sharply, and for a moment I think she has taken exception to something I said. Jesus, Mike, she exclaims, still looking at me. You do know she has sent you nude photos, right? I scratch the back of my neck and wince, expecting her to take this badly. Yeah, I did notice that. If nothing's going on, she begins, and instead of starting on me, returns her attention to my phone. Why haven't you deleted any of these? I scoff at this, surprised Hugh's taking it so calmly. Well, you know, I do like to jerk off to those, in my spare time, I say sarcastically, and hope I can get away with saying this without her taking me seriously. When I'm not too busy helping the police with their inquiries and stressing about losing my girlfriend, that is. She gives me a withering look and I laugh. Come on, Evie, I've had bigger things to worry about than deleting a bunch of stupid texts, I sigh, rolling my eyes. That's it, she huffs. I'm calling her right now. I watch her select an option on my phone and then put it up to her ear. Wait, I cry. I don't know who she is. Eve meets my eyes before turning and slowly walking down the hall towards her kitchen. She might lie to you to stir trouble. Just keep that in mind, I say. This is Michael's girlfriend, Eve says, her voice decidedly venomous. Who the hell are you? Silence for a moment as she listens to the response. Kay, she laughs. How dare you? What gives you the right to harass my man? He's not even interested. Another brief silence. You've got a lot of nerve. No, you cannot speak to him. I walk over to the staircase and sit on one of the bottom steps, staring up at the ceiling. Oh, is that right? She says tensely. And when was this? Uh-huh. You did? Eve agrees a moment later. Really? I can tell from her tone that her agreement to whatever Kay is saying is not genuine. I don't believe you. Know why? He wasn't even there last night, Eve laughs. Nice try. Now you listen to me. Stop texting him, stop writing him, stop stalking him, or not only will you have me to deal with, but you will have to answer to the police. Do I make myself clear, bitch? There is a silent pause following this. Oh, is that so? Eve responds curtly, dropping her voice to a blood-chilling tone. Don't threaten me, Missy. You have no idea what I'm capable of. With that, I hear my phone being flipped shut with a snap. This is followed by the sound of her doing something in the kitchen before she appears in the hallway again. I can't believe you just did that, I laugh. Here's hoping it works. Eve smiles and comes over to me, setting down the 2 soda cans and one of the chocolate muffins she is carrying on the stairs beside me. Don't delete anything, she says, biting into the other muffin. Not even the nude photos. I crack open one of the cans of Coke and drink some. But what if it doesn't work? I doubt the police will even give me the time of day, let alone want to know about my stalker. Oh, they might when they hear about the naked pictures, she smiles. Eve kneels on one of the steps below me and sets her half-eaten muffin aside, sliding her hands up my legs. Thank you, gorgeous. I smile at her and put my hands on hers, sliding mine up her bare arms. She is almost normal now. I can almost forget all the terrible things that have happened. Except there is something different about her too. A new tension in her shoulders, and a wariness about her eyes that didn't used to be there. I cup her chin with one hand, and bring my head closer to hers, but hesitate before our lips connect. Looking into her calm, amber eyes, I look for a sign she doesn't want me to kiss her. Is this the right move, or does it make her uncomfortable? Her eyes move from mine down to my lips, and she erases my doubts in an instant when she closes the distance. Her kiss is not filled with a desire or anything like that, but is given with a soft hint of muted passion. I return it briefly, relieved she isn't shunning this intimate act. "You're so hot when you get mad," I grin, my hand still cradling her chin. She smiles, taking my hand in hers and away from her chin before casting her eyes shyly away. This surprises me. There are many personality traits that Eve has, but timid shyness is not one of them. "I enjoyed it, actually," she says quietly. Something in her tone makes the words sound false and leaves me wondering if she means that. It's weird. Is she forcing this easy atmosphere? "Me too," I frown, extracting my hand from hers. I slip my hands round her waist, enjoying the feel of her warm bare skin, and pull her closer. Her body tenses up, like she has had a steel rod inserted in her spine, and a quiet gasp escapes her lips, but she moves easily into my arms. This is all very confusing. I can't make sense of the conflicting signals and have no idea what she is really happy with. Maybe she is just faking this whole thing and would rather I wasn't here at all. "Evie, help me out here," I sigh. "I want to do this at your speed, but I don't know what that is. I want to help her relax, but I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. Maybe nothing I do can help her with that because I'm the one doing it, but all I can do is try." "This is hard for me, sweetie," she says. "I need to feel close to you again, but I'm scared." Her voice is softer than normal and lacks her usual confidence, and her eyes are fixed somewhere to my right. "Of what?" I gasp. Using one finger, I tilt her chin so that her eyes are looking into mine, and I stroke her back in what I hope is a comforting manner. "Evie, I want you to remember that you don't have to be scared, okay?" I frown at her. "I promise that I'm not going to hurt you again, and you know I'm not going to do anything you don't want me to." She nods, but doesn't give away what she is thinking. I really despair. I don't want to make the wrong move. Who knows, maybe she's more willing than she appears to be letting on. This is difficult, but then I expected it to be when I came here. Stroking her hair with one hand, I watch her for a moment, considering my next move. "I don't know if I've told you this recently, but I love you," I say. She looks at me and smiles, the blinds slipping for a second. "I love you, Mike," Eve cries, hugging me against her. "I don't know what I've done to deserve you. You've been so patient with me over the course of our relationship, while I've just been plain crazy. Thank you for sticking around." "Where else am I going to go?" I reply, hugging her back. "Never mind, don't answer that. Of course I've stuck around. You're worth it." She pulls away and gazes into my eyes for a moment. Taking her face in my hands, this time there is no hesitation, as I bring my lips down on hers and kiss her again. I do it slowly, but make my intentions clear, releasing the passion I feel for her into the kiss. I feel Eve melt into my embrace, all the tension momentarily gone, as she responds to me with equal passion. My pulse quickens and my heartbeat increases in tempo as I move my lips down to her throat. She gasps in response to this, but does not tell me to stop. Her neck tilts sideways, exposing more of it to my lips, and I notice that her breathing rate has increased a little. She wants this. She must, otherwise she'd tell me to stop. "Oh, I just melt when you do that," she breathes. I stop and pull back, looking at her to check that she is okay. "This is nice, isn't it?" she smiles. There is a hint of stiffness in her shoulders, but she looks more than okay with it aside from that. "We've been shouting too much recently," she goes on, looking regretful. "You know, we could do something that doesn't involve any shouting, unless you want to shout out my name," I perk, cocking an eyebrow suggestively. Her responding smile appears genuine. "That could be fun. Let's do it," she says, the words sounding flat. I hate how fake all her attempts at being normal seem. It doesn't look like her heart's in this. I reach out and softly caress one of her small breasts, watching her response. Eve tenses up and looks uncomfortable at this attention. "You don't have to do this," I say. "We have to start somewhere, and this is the perfect place," she says. Eve slips one hand round the back of my neck, sliding her fingers into my hair and pulling my lips to hers. Her kiss is hot and passionate. My pulse goes into overdrive, and I suddenly want her more than I have in a long time. She pulls away, breathless, and slips a hand up my leg, beginning to massage my enlarged crotch. "It's not just about rebuilding lost trust either," she purrs breathlessly. "We used to have such a good sex life. You have no idea how hard it's been getting for me lately." Well, forget any doubts I may have been having. She's been holding out on me. Are you sure? I question stupidly, panting now, nearly moaning the words. She stops what she's doing and stares at me. Are you? She says. I mean, I thought this is what you wanted. Only if you do, I say breathlessly. I've been getting the impression your heart's not in this. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to give you mixed signals. I'm fine, honestly. Now get upstairs, will you? She's smiling, and there is a wicked glint in her eye. I get to my feet and wait for her to do the same, then take her hand and lead the way. Apparently I need telling twice, but certainly not 3 times. She's right about the bonding. We need to work on this. I still have nagging doubts, but as long as she is doing this willingly, I'm certainly not going to say no. This girl is a fighter, that's for sure. I'm glad she thinks we're worth fighting for.